Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week, and your chance to participate with Kevin and Sean in the monthly Nash and Friends watch-along show. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
LA Knight here. Kev, I want to thank you for bringing me on here before the millions and millions of Kliq This listeners. I remember watching you in the 90s. My mom, Ata, would sit me down on her knee and tell me I could be anything I wanted to be, and believe me, I took that to heart. I look up to you, big man, big sexy, and I know the hard road you had growing up on the mean streets of Detroit. Hey, don't think I had it easy. Imagine fitting in being the son of a black Nova Scotian and a Samoan broad, but you were an inspiration, big man. Now, I gotta be on Raw tonight, so I'm gonna get out of here fast and furiously, like the mummy was chasing me onto a jungle cruise. But thanks for letting me hop on, Big D. What? Someone broke into my signal here. It should have been me. What did I miss?
It was Race Bannon from Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest. Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. He is Kevin. I'm Sean. Listen, lest anyone think that LA Knight was here, that motherfucker was not real. So, clear up some confusion. I have to start with it, Kev. I'd like everyone tonight to take a moment and remember how we started here. There were three of us, two in your room there and me way over here. Today is the 9-month
Yes.
anniversary of Tristan's moving on.
I didn't realize that 9 months it coincides with the same day. Like it's Wednesday.
Yeah, it is. Right.
So I guess at 9 months it loops.
Mm-hmm. Ironically enough, you're talking about a child and the 9 months. That's a kind of an interesting thing there.
Yeah.
But not that we'd forget anyway. We keep the 4T on our screen as we do forever. And so just a moment. I know we have fans that have joined us long after that, that come on to the show. And so just a little something to remind everyone why we're here, how we got here. Don't forget our past. Some feedback from last week. Grip Strength says, I really enjoy hearing the training updates. Would love it if you made it a weekly segment and shared even more. Well, I mean, we could drop into it if you guys have questions. I try to bring up when someone has like a question. Like last week we did legs, right? Someone had a question about your leg regiment.
Yeah. Then I tried to follow that, and I about killed myself. I was like, whew. I got to
next day.
No, it was 2 days later. I was just like, 7 plates did not go on the leg press.
Do you follow? You have to go on. I'll look it up. It's on Instagram. It's Jim something, GYM something, and it's like epic fails from morons.
See, I can't watch people like pull biceps or
It's not all injuries. It's just like stupid shit. Like, it doesn't not necessarily anything graphic, but like someone trying to do like a snatch and their legs come out from under them, and
I can't watch that shit.
you can't watch it
No. No,
because you feel for the person. You don't.
No, yeah, because
Well, people are doing some asshole stuff.
yeah, but I don't know.
Overtaxing their abilities. And get what you deserve if you're doing something ridiculous.
Yeah, but the way I look at it, you actually have to be in the fucking gym to get hurt in the gym.
So there's some street creds
Yeah,
at least for
a little
going to the
something,
gym.
right.
Now, I will sit on my fat ass and laugh at you motherfuckers overloading the weight
as you
plate there.
slowly converged into Truman Capote.
As my arteries calcify, absolutely. You'll have your day to laugh at me. Look down and laugh at me. David Martinez.
What do you mean you look down and laugh at you? Fuck, dude. With my blood against your blood, you might be looking down at me.
No, I meant into my grave.
Oh.
Onto my headstone.
You're not being cremated?
That's an interesting thing. I think I probably would want to be put into a wall somewhere.
But in your
like just the urn. I don't,
God, why want to take up real estate, man?
What about in one of those mausoleums where they cremate you and you get like a spot there?
My son's underneath I look at my TV and my son's urn is right underneath my TV.
Right.
So it's just like, I don't know.
Maybe there'll be a new
once my son's heart stopped, it was still my boy, it was still my son, but like when I looked across his across his body into my wife's eyes, it was like he's gone. And like when we walked, like once you walk out of that room, out of the ICU, and you sit down and you do paperwork, and and then you go and then you set up for the funeral home to come, get his body, and then you set up for cremation, then we never saw, like once I kissed my son on his forehead and said, goodbye. That was the next time I saw him was in an urn.
Did you need an extra layer of closure? Do you think you needed a ceremony of some kind, or
no,
you didn't?
No.
Because I always pondered, I'd be at a funeral and I'd wonder what are we doing? Like, what is this medieval?
For Tamara and I, number one, and I don't think I've ever told this story, but when they came to get when we called 911 and the fire guys, came and to take him to the hospital, Tristan turned around, and when as he turned around and sat up, that's when he started to have the first thing he did, he went in a spasm, and he reached for me because I was on the end of the bed, and we looked right into each other's eyes, and he was reaching for me like with his hand, and then he had the cardiac arrest, and I was locked into his eyes. I just saw that, like that. It's just so when they jerked him, like right from there, the guy put his hands on his neck. They said, code. They jerked him on the floor, off of his bed onto the floor, cut his shirt, and then zapped him. They got a pulse, and then they got him. They basically put him on the backboard and dragged him down the stairs, down the cement stairs, with his fucking hands hanging, but bouncing off the fucking concrete. And I'm kind of running behind, and they put him in the back of the ambulance. And because as a society now, we're just not strong enough, or maybe maybe this is just an advance, but it almost looks like a machine with a turnbuckle on it, and they put it on the chest for the compressions, and then they just were bagging him as they took off. And this is Tamara and I took, like, we knew that this was going to be, and we didn't know how bad it was at that moment, but we didn't think it was good. And I said, we're going to be in the hospital, like, this is going to be all day. Like, I think we should take a shower before we, I'm just not one of those people that I'm not one of those hysterical, it's just like I'm trying to think of, through this. And I mean, I went downstairs. It took me 2 seconds to make a protein shake. Made a protein shake, so I had something in my stomach, and then me driving that S-Class, I basically beat the ambulance. I gave it like a 10-minute head start. I'm passing it, And
Did he go up on 95 to that?
No, he went to this little small, because they were. This is when I knew he was in trouble. They took him to this little regional on Dunlawton, this little Halifax, because they wanted to stabilize him before they even moved him to the ICU where they took Earnhardt. And so, I mean, and then the doctor came out, and he was laying there on the gurney, and had, like, they had a thing down his throat for him to breathe, but his eyes were wide open still. And my wife said, "I want to go in there." And I said, "No, you don't want to go in there. Like, you don't want to see him like this." And then the doctor came out and pulled us aside and just said, "Just spend as much time as you can with him." And I was saying, "Well, really? I just thought I'd go fucking train chest.
I have a golf game, and
yeah. Really? I got fucking suits I'm trying to catch up on." But yeah. So then we went to the other hospital, and
so they did move him.
They moved him.
Okay.
And we followed that ambulance to Halifax, and then we went in, and then they had us like in some code. You had to have a code to sit in this waiting room, and he was in there probably about 30 or 40 minutes. They found a tear in his esophagus. I don't know if it happened when he had the seizure or whatever, but there was a tear in his, so he had some blood coming up. So they had to address that, and they put him on some coagulants and some other things. So when we came in, I mean, he was hooked up to so much shit. And they also had him on like a warming, almost like the sleep gimmick we have, where you can warm it.
Oh, to regulate his temperature.
Yeah, so they had him on that, and his blood pressure was real low. His pulse was, maybe 62, 63, but his blood pressure was like 90/60. So, yeah, it was.
Kev always thinking of the show as he slides a Sleep Me mattress under his son in the hospital there, so that you could do a testimonial. Gotta hand it to you.
Yeah.
Now, when I talked to you in the morning, I guess soon. Well, we texted in the morning soon after. I guess he was taken, 9 or 10 in the morning, something like that, right? Or late afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was. I want to think he left the house at 10:12.
Okay, right. And then there was a big gap, and then when I heard from you again, it was a severe text. I don't remember the verbiage, but it was critical. I mean, it was a critical.
I said he's not going to make it.
Right. And so in that gap of like 8 hours or whatever, when were you notified? Like, when was there hope, and when was there less hope throughout the day?
At the beginning, there was like a frenzy of activity around him, you know, like they were and just they had two, they had two internists in there. They were, they had a cardiologist. I mean, there was, and we were off into like a little corner because the last thing we want to do was get in the way. But at the same time, I wasn't fucking not going to have eyes on. So then they got him to where he was stable.
Mm-hmm.
And once they got him stable, then one of the doctors in the ICU took us back to the skip where we could talk. We look at top secret clearance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would say it was a bathroom, but he took us in there, and he said that was the first time he said he said the heart attack that he had, the cardiac arrest that he had is severe, and he's starting to show other organs are starting to shut down. Like his kidney output is lessened, so they were starting to show signs. And
when do you have to come to grips with the fact of how that night was going to end? Was there hope up till the end? I mean, when you texted me throughout the night,
no. At 2:30 in the morning.
Yep.
It wasn't if, but when.
Right.
So then it was like, then we just, it was just for Tamara and I just to take in as much as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And, I made some requests, I asked that they please, I asked first, had they done the proper toxicology for any kind of drugs? Because I didn't want, I knew he didn't do anything.
Right, you don't want it misreported.
I don't want his kid OD'd. I didn't want any of that fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, yes, we've done full panel. He has nothing, because I knew he wasn't drinking because he had stopped drinking.
Right.
So he didn't even have alcohol in him. So he had nothing in him. I'm sure he had THC because, we both had medical marijuana cards.
That doesn't put you in cardiac arrest.
No. So we were talking in the room, and Tristan was in the room. The doc was talking, and I said, "Can I talk to you outside?" I said, "Listen," I said, I don't want to sit here and talk about the demise of my son if there's a chance that he's coherent and can hear this, like,
yes.
I said, fuck, I said, number one, I said, can we talk? I said, I don't want to be far from him either. I said, can you not give him fentanyl or something, but like where he's like, when he does pass, there'll be no difference as far as his brain activity. Like he'll just, he'll go from sleep into, like how everybody wants to go.
Right.
When you go is, if I fell asleep and I never woke up, that's about as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, yeah. And they came in, man, and they had a little bag thing, and they hooked it to a machine. And I said, I want to see that. I said, I want to read that that's fentanyl. I want to know that I don't want some bogus shit. I want to know that my kid's not in any pain. And, they put him on the respirator, and he was, once they put him on the respirator, he every time, they breathe, they jerk. And as soon as they gave him that fentanyl, fuck, man, it was, I don't know if I could have went another 5 hours of watching him on every breath, like, and anybody that's watched somebody on a respirator, it's just, I don't know, it was like fucking, It was unbelievable. And once I gave him that fentanyl, it just looked like he was snoozing. It was just, the thing was breathing for me. You could just see his just his chest rise and fall. And even his heart rate, which I would have thought it went down, it actually didn't. It was almost like the blood pressure and everything else, like kind of had a little bit of a spike, to whereas I think just putting you in where your body's just not fighting so hard to to put up with that respirator.
Yeah.
But we knew, it was just like we sat there and when his heart rate went into the 40s at around 5 a.m., it was just like we knew that I said, that's when I asked the nurse that was in there. I said, I can visually see when my son's heart's going to flatline. I said, I don't want to fucking hear it. I said, is there any way you can, turn this? She said, well,
the beeping.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to hear. I don't want, no. Like, I'll know because I'm looking at the monitor right above his head, and she's like, well, if we do that, it's going to make it'll make it the monitor black and white. And I'm like, that's fine. I wasn't looking for that.
NWO tribute.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for the Avatar send off, and we just sat there, and then it just all of a sudden it was just like, and we looked at this. And
I remember you saying that when you turned to Tamara and said, "What are you feeling?" And what was her term? Peace or
yeah.
Or something like that, right? Because after that,
she said he's
madness of.
She said he's at peace.
Yeah, yeah.
Tamara just found like a bunch of his journals and his poems, and oh God,
Do you ever think about doing something with them, like to
reading them, read them?
Well, to share. I mean, he was an artist, and
no, never. They weren't for us to read. They weren't for Tamara and I to read. They weren't. I would never.
Different than the music, then.
Yeah, because it was one of his ongoing things was he was so worried about
Kev, this isn't how I wanted to make you go through this whole thing. I just wanted to make sure everybody who joined us, after the ball got rolling, remembered that there was three of us.
I've been there all day.
I know.
And I'll just end it with this, just saying that he had an ongoing fear of losing one of us. So
you saw that in the writings
Yeah.
that you went through. Yeah.
So
I still keep his. I have his last text from me that told everybody about the thing there.
I can't read it.
It says, "Love you, man." I don't know what the fuck we were talking about, the show or something, and
I think I was after that sleepover.
What's that?
I think I was after you guys' sleepover.
I'm not even going. I can't go for one right now. I can't go for one. James Bedford, people sharing. Thanks for sharing, Big Kev. That podcast you did right after was one of the most touching things I've watched. Made me think about life, that you powered on through such sad times. I was actually on a show last night. Husey is the podcast name, and Shuley from the Stern Show is one of the people on there. And I was on promoting the book, but they asked about this show, and I talked about the connection with our people, and I said that it could have been like any other podcast. It certainly wasn't going to be like any other wrestling podcast because we decided that early on. But it could have been like any other podcast until Tristan passed, and when I didn't think we would do a show that week, and you said to me, I have to let everybody know from me what happened, not from the news. And I think that built that connection that we have with our
Plus,
audience.
like I mean, it was his idea for me to even,
Right.
everything was his idea. So to me, it's just like he passes. Like the one thing, no matter, the people that don't pay us our fucking money on time, and I mean, and I apologize to people out there that say, Jesus, man, there's so many commercials, and but everything in life's a business, and my wife's sitting down, 2 miles down the ocean right now in an empty house. And I'm sorry, but there's a price for that. And I
Yeah.
got and this is a team. When we got guys that they're busting their ass to make a little coin on the side. I apologize, but I hope that you get something out of this besides, occasional cock talk, or, I mean,
I think they do. I mean, I read time and time again that people, we're the only show they do cover to cover.
This is a real this has always this has always been a real fucking deal.
When I describe to people, I say we don't talk to the audience, we talk with the audience, and that's the difference.
So to those that that are just joining us, especially those that are just joining the 11 Soft,
KliqThisTV.com crew, you could be part of it. Go there.
This is what we and I don't, as hard as it is sometimes, a lot of times, when I can verbalize this, it's because I haven't. Tamara's had a real hard day today, so it's just I've kind of just sucked it in. So when I came down here and you brought it up, it's just like, maybe fucking it wouldn't hurt for me to say something.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad we spent some time on it. David Martinez.
Now all I got to say is, hop on.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of play on the hop on yet.
I thought for sure I'd be fucking bastardized for the BB gun assault.
Nothing.
I guess it was different times. I guess that whole fucking Red Rider, that Christmas story, just put that in a different,
Absolutely.
Just makes it nostalgia. A couple of kids in the fucking early 70s rifling their fucking cousin with fucking daisies up in the barn just isn't quite as shitty as fucking something Robert Kennedy Jr. can throw out of his mouth.
Whoa! David Martinez driving through Tallahassee right now, listening to this, visiting Palm Bay, Florida this week, thinking about doing a Daytona run-in, but the Detroit stories of potentially facing a 7-foot monster with a Jason knife scared me off. Jokes aside, the show makes a great travel companion. Re-listening to the past episodes. Thank you, David. Does have replayability. We have a lot of replayability. I think you can go back and still enjoy a laugh. Jeremiah.
I mean, we can take off months like everybody else does.
No, I mean, that's, what are we, episode 55. No one's heard a rerun yet.
Hey, I'm Double J Jeff Jarrett, and I know a thing or two about walking out on a bad deal, like paying someone else's mortgage. Don't let your landlord get over on you. Walk out on that bad deal and stop throwing your money away on rent today with SaveWithConrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. You may not even need a down payment. Your new house payment could be less than what you're paying now. So if you're still renting, what are you doing? Conrad and his team can help you reverse your landlord's figure 4 leg lock, and you can move up the card to home ownership. Visit SaveWithConrad.com today. That's right, SaveWithConrad.com today.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
No.
Jeremiah Schuyler. Kevin's onto something about mini golf and the hotties. maybe they're figuring out what we've already known about golf. It's a lot like sex. You don't have to be good at it to have a lot of fun.
There was a comment that somebody came up on our on the YouTube, and I almost have to find it because this is I mean
About the golf?
Yes, and I recall me how I explained I'm driving home on this little beach road, and there's this little Pirates Cove putt-putt place, and there's always attractive women at it. And I just wanted to know, it's not pulling up, but if anybody can find it, it's this guy saying, yes, it's influencers. Like, that's like, dude, no, it's not. It's not influencers at my fucking Pirates Cove.
Being paid to play mini golf there?
Yeah, it's
interesting concept.
I'm like, yo, Jesus, man. Let me see if I can find this fucking thing.
I think we got it here, Kev. Let's see. Just zoom. My eyes ain't what these used to be. Okay, there it is. The hot women and mini golf course correlation is about influencers or Instagram models making videos for TikTok, IG, or whatever platform they post on. Well, but why mini golf as opposed to doing anything else in the world?
As opposed to when you look at it, so they're influencers that bring their husbands and kids. They bring like three, like they're super hot. And they bring two like not so hot friends. Like, no, this is just life. This ain't got, like, who the fuck comes up with that as their hypothesis?
I don't know. I mean,
does anybody see Rogan go over what exactly TikTok, when you sign your contract, what TikTok basically tells
the terms and conditions
of what they can do?
I didn't see it.
Oh my God. To the point of they have the right to everything you do on your phone. I mean, to the point of spelling out what you type.
Mm-hmm.
They've got permission for that. So it's like, I don't get it.
Well,
I don't have TikTok.
Maybe the burner phone is back.
I have Instagram and I have Twitter, which the only reason I don't have the new the Twitter rival. Because if I don't like it, then I lose my Instagram account. Like, there's no.
I never caught the appeal of TikTok just because Threads is the new one you're making reference to. Threads. But
plus that name isn't working for me. Sounds like some fucking Netflix thing about a couple of fucking guys working out of a basement putting together a fucking fashion show.
Suits, Threads. That could be the spin-off of Suits.
The guys that make the suits. Threads.
I don't know. What do I know? I'm 50 now, so of course I think TikTok is useless. But I mean, everyone below me in age seems to cling to it. I think
that was the whole reason that they put Threads together, was that Facebook no longer was anything that the younger
it's
demographic wanted to use.
It's exclusively to see your grandkids now and what they're doing.
That's why I just bought the name MySpace.
Good for you.
Take this shit back old school, baby.
Right. Good to see it was available again.
How can it not be? I'm just surprised they beat Shaq to it.
There's nothing that guy doesn't advertise. There's nothing he doesn't shill. Tommy Damon. Fritz and his claw were awesome for sure, and talk about believable. When we did that Chop episode, did we talk about the claw at all? I know the heart punch was discussed.
I'm sure we did. I would have.
Claw's a good one, especially the double claw. If you don't have the leverage of the mat or a turnbuckle, and you can just with hand strength do the double claw on someone 275, 6'3". Testament to those hands. You know what's really funny?
Pretty soon, the AEW might have to.
To ban that.
They might be switching to that.
Only claw, a claw only match.
Claw on a pole match.
Claw on a pole, exactly. We hired Kevin Von Erich for one of the roasts, the Terry Funk roast, I think. And
was he barefoot?
No, we demanded though that he appear on the dais that way. But he was out back behind the hotel making a call at one point, and we were either driving by or walking by, and he was holding his cell phone. I'm not going to do it justice because I don't have the hand. In such a way, it was like from the
claw-ish.
He was applying the claw to the phone. Everyone marked out in the car. He was kind of talking like this on the cell, and it looked like he actually was applying the claw. He does, I guess, maybe to I didn't eat with him to see if he did that, like with the Kaiser bun, if it was picked up in such a way that the claw was being applied. I wasn't in the urinal next to him to see if, like what goes on there. But, yeah, the claw's a way of life down there for the Von Erich clan.
Speaking about how shitty the Charlotte airport is.
You sound like one of my commercial transitions.
I went through Charlotte a couple weeks ago, and the entire, there's not a urinal with a fucking divider in any bathroom. I'm just like, wow.
It's trust.
Well, I mean, now know that I'll get a good fluff before I get off a plane and take a piss in Charlotte.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need people talking about, I peed next to Nash. Guess what?
A little disappointing.
You ain't nothing to hop on to.
There wasn't no Rock Hudson.
Exactly. But so is that
might turn into Anderson Cooper tonight? What the
you have a little bit of that going on. That would make me Andy Cohen, so
sweet.
So the Charlotte airport, did we do like worst airport? Because you've been in them all. What's gotta be the one when that comes up on the itinerary? Charlotte's up there.
Charlotte's fucking way up there. I mean, God, man, it's packed with fucking 70-seat jets. I'll tell you one thing though. There's a bar that's in the middle of the concourses, and there's a one of those bulls you would ride, but it's not really one of those. It just kind of replicates that.
Oh, okay.
It's got kind of a cow skin on it instead of leather, but that sits there. I don't know what the fuck the name of that bar is. But I always like, because we're having this conversation about Charlotte. There was a guy that was working, and it was I was late in Knoxville, thunderstorms. So we land, and I get off the plane, and I know that it's Saturday night, so I know like if I don't get something to eat. Because I'm looking at it and they're saying I'm not leaving until 12:30, and I know that ain't gonna happen. So I've got to get. So I sit down and it's 11:01. I go, "What time do you stop serving food?" And the guy says 11. And I said, I said, "Can I get like something to drink?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "What do you want to eat, man? I'll get it to the kitchen." I'm like, "Serious?" Like I said, "Like, can I get?" He said, "You get anything on the menu?" I said, "Oh, dude, a cheeseburger, just a double cheeseburger, and some fries, like, and a Modelo, like, like I don't care about my diet, I don't care about my cardio. I just man, I want some fucking grease. I want a couple of beers." I took a half a Xanax. That fucking food came. I waited for that plane till 1:40. I got home after 3. In Daytona Beach. It was just like, I didn't give a fuck. Only thing was, though, those 3 Modellas, fucking that it made me have to piss. And I was on a Canadian Regional 70. I couldn't have got my cock in the bathroom, let alone my body.
Oh, this wide small.
So now I had to hold my piss, man. And it was just like, once again, though, I did at 64 years old, I made myself proud
that you were
and
able to stay dry. Yeah,
because I was, you get to that one point where you think like, I'm just gonna piss my pants. Like I'm just gonna piss, and then you're thinking like, fuck, like why didn't I get like an Evian bottle? I could have fucking, I could have.
in a pinch like that, you could not fit in that bathroom.
No, I've tried it before.
Wow.
It's like this tall, and I'm just,
It's like the Skylo low flight there.
Yeah, it was fucking brutal. I mean, look, you know what, man? It's like Andre and those guys when they, they fly to Japan and they couldn't fucking shut the door and they couldn't take they'd have to shit and, ugh.
Yeah. No, not a fun existence.
All of a sudden, I want beef stew. Crazy.
MK Disciple, excuse me, MK Disciple. Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, hands down. He'll win too. And you'll see how out of touch you guys are.
I got tired of his ass on fucking Breaking Bad. You can't tell me he was able to suck me in. I didn't enjoy him in fucking I'm Anybody or fucking whatever that is, where he was fucking the vigilante. I didn't enjoy that. So don't tell me what the fuck I like and don't like, and don't tell me how out of touch I am, motherfucker. If I want to,
I don't think he did a bad job, but I think that in that field that we talked about, with Brian Cox and Jeremy
you can't
Strong,
touch. You're not going to touch Calkin.
You can't touch Cox. Oh, I thought you were going to go. You can't touch Cox.
No,
no, Culkin. Yeah, I mean that's
Culkin is fucking.
What are the odds? We got some odds here from. Yeah, look at it, 6-4. God damn it! I hate being with the favorite.
9-4. Fucking Bob.
Oh, 9-4. Okay, well that's all right. So that's a strong.
Yeah, but it's not like we're out of our minds if we're in the same fucking, And on top of that, you know what?
When the hell are the Emmys anyway?
I don't care because I'm fucking on strike.
Yeah. Well, they're still doing them.
Yeah, we'll see.
It'll be.
We'll see who shows up.
I think it's in September.
We'll see who shows up.
It'll be done by then. Hopefully,
you can fucking the network. Of course, the networks are aren't gonna tell you that it's not gonna be there because the networks want you to fucking put it in your fucking calendar. If we're on strike, there won't be anybody fucking walking up there getting a fucking award.
Okay.
If you walk off the fucking premiere of Oppenheimer, you're definitely not fucking gonna be at the Emmys.
Right.
So unless they fucking AI it. Oh, yeah, you motherfuckers.
How long was our last strike?
80? The one in 80, right?
No. When we were
92.
I feel like when I was doing Sex in the City, I feel like that was around
90 was in 92. It might have been when I was fucking like not really worried about it because I was wrestling every fucking day. 2000.
Okay, right. Okay, so that makes sense. Right, yeah.
Strike lasted for several months.
That was the big. I think cable was the big issue there.
80 was the last one that was the double, right?
There was one in 80. I don't know if it was a.
Yeah, that was the, and I think I'm pretty sure that was the writers were with us. Now it's all, I've been sitting here like a moron. Like every week, I keep pulling up my my shows, and I'm like, where the fuck is Bill Maher's show at? Where the fuck is Maher at? Where the fuck is Maher at? Where the fuck is Maher at? Oh, he doesn't have any fucking writers.
Oh, you mean why?
Yeah, why? They cancel him? I said, "Fuck it," and I watched him do the Robert Kennedy interview. As painful as it was,
Yeah, in his
like he was in
on
Taos,
his
New Mexico, and those fucking
he's
south,
he gets
southwestern.
so baked on those podcasts. From it looks like his basement. I don't know if he's in his basement or not, but it definitely gives that basement bar vibe.
No, he had a different setup for Robert Kennedy.
No, wasn't he down in the basement?
No, he looked like he was in like big.
He's always got with the booze bottles around, and
This looked like a fucking southwestern fucking. Looked like they were at a La Quinta in the lobby. Or maybe I was stoned when I watched it.
I think maybe. I feel like that was still the same set. I have to look. Chuston88. Someone should make a playable T character for Kevin. Send him the link or whatever so him and T can be a tag team. I'm guessing they mean for a video game. That would be interesting. But
I haven't. You know what? The whole system is in his room, which I sleep in his room, but I just there's like nothing's been. I don't want to play video games without my kid.
yeah, no, but I'm saying people can use the Nash. The Nash
I don't
tag
want. I don't want kids. I don't want. Unless he's a 99, you can't pen him. I don't want anybody fucking with my kid.
At 99. Let's see.
That's the big thing in Madden. You get to when you're a 90.
Player ratings, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tonight, if you're listening live here on Monday, the 24th of July, 2023, tonight is the next Nash and Friends 8:30 start time. Special start time, as they always used to say when it was some oddball number. Card gets underway at 8:30 tonight when we're joined in the special How We Killed WCW edition with Kevin Sullivan, everybody. So join Kliq This TV if you haven't already. Just go to KliqThisTV.com. Sign up.
And as my
less than a cup of coffee a day, which doesn't mean anything since Starbucks.
And as my mentor would say, in the valley of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
It's going to be great. You guys will get exclusive access to this tonight, only for Nash and Friends is only for our subscribers at KliqThisTV.com. Only $9.99 a month, for God's sakes. And you get to be here live every week like our friends here. Ask questions, hang out with Nash, Sullivan, and myself. That's tonight. Somebody put up a poll on Twitter that I wanted to show. Before I show the results, I'm going to read the names.
At the bottom of the poll, does it say up, huh?
Not that kind of poll.
Oh.
Yeah, spelling's a little different. But who would you rather go to the pub with? And you were on the list. So let's see if we can get a little, some folks here to vote for who they'd most like to spend some time.
What is it, wrestlers?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say.
Let me confirm if it's only wrestlers, but I know.
I was say,
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
So here they are. It's Kevin Nash, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus, or Kenny Omega. Who would you rather spend time at the pub with? I guess everyone here is going to say you. So,
well, pull up. I'll put what's the poll at right now?
So here were the results. Ready?
Ziggler's. I would.
Stevie got it. Kevin Nash in first at 56%. Second place was Sheamus at 22%.
That the key is pub.
Right.
The key is pub.
Drinking pints.
Yeah.
You're not at the hotel bar. You're at the pub.
I would love to go to fucking the pub with Sheamus and McIntyre. They're both good, and they're both funny as fuck. That'd be a bucket list if I can drink with Sheamus and McIntyre.
So David Van Bogelen says present company excluded because Kev is always in that spot, but otherwise Drew. So Kevin would have gone with Drew. Drew's a good guy, man.
Somebody said, was it? I was looking at our site, and I want to think it was like Conan's keeping it real, they said is McIntyre, like, is he worth keeping around? Right? Like, is he necessary or something like that? Like that was like the
On the roster?
I didn't bait it. I didn't listen to it because every time you see one of those, it's never anything that you want to fucking say. Oh,
Drew's such a good guy, man. He I'm so glad he got that spot, through the years when he did. He was one of those guys that I'd see on the independents, and just like I always talked to him, and it helped that he was a fan of kayfabe commentaries and was able to quote U-shoot editions every time he saw. But just one of those guys that, like, you saw the work ethic, you saw how he treated other people. And you're like, fuck.
He's just a good fucking guy.
He's just a good fucking guy, exactly. And a good worker, too, obviously.
I think the term is he was a fucking dandy.
He was a dandy. And when he stepped off the bus into Hollywood,
he was a
he didn't know
anybody.
AEW, the news on AEW this
we'll
week.
Get mileage off the Rock Hudson documentary. Fuck everyone.
Single-handedly, the two of us will just talk about it every fucking week.
To the point where you'll know everything that was. You know how how it was shot.
Every vein on the thing.
Then she hooked up with Segal and she lost all street cred.
Oh, it's so funny you brought up Segal. We're going to talk about him in a little bit.
Oh, I love it. Me and Tyrus send Segal karate Instagrams back and forth to each other. Did I ever tell you that the
two grown men? Congratulations.
Yeah, but I've got to tell you the story. So we're doing the Marlins baseball game.
Uh-huh.
And it's a guy named Uncle Louie is running the show. And it's the Nasties. I want to think it's Butch. I think Honky, Tyrus, myself, and Goldberg, because I think Goldberg speared the mascot or something like during the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our crew. So before the game started, all the boys were together, and they were, a lot of them were visibly hammered. I was not. I was driving home after it, and had 252 miles to drive home, and so that was the day that Piper passed. So the Nasty Boys, who were friends with Roddy, came in, and they said, "Hey, we're going to get everybody's attention." And they were up like on a riser. And they said, "We just want to say," they're both bawling, Roddy Piper passed away. I remember this one time he came at me and tried to cut my throat with a broken beer bottle, and they're going back and forth. And Tyrus and I, because he's as sarcastic motherfucker as I am, we just do this to each other. We just make eye contact, like. So I slowly walk my way over. He slowly walks his way to me, and we're just like, "So you're crying over somebody, and your memory is him getting so fucked up that he tried to cut your throat with a broken beer bottle." So now that's an ongoing thing. That's also when we send one of those Segal things back and forth. It always has. We actually take the time to type underneath it. I cry every time I see this. It reminds me of that time, and then he'll either say, "In Oakland, when you saved me from the beer bottle," or I'll save him from the. It's an ongoing thing with Tyrus and I over this Marlins. I kept the jersey. I never keep any of the jerseys. I've actually worn it on this show, that Marlins baseball jersey. It's a badass jersey too. Marlins got sweet jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad the team sucks.
I was gonna say,
but yeah,
really
fucking that and the fact that they're. I mean, fucking horrible in the hood. I mean, it's just a word. You couldn't pick a worse place to fucking build a baseball stadium. Bed-Stuy.
Sure.
Bed-Stuy Marlins.
So, Rick Steiner was, we talked about a little bit, I guess, because it had happened a year ago, right? When we were on the, not a year ago, less than a year
it
now,
happened
but
at WrestleMania.
earlier in the
Yeah.
year, right? About the comments to Giselle, and there was some controversy this week because he was added to the roster of Wrestlecon, which I thought was a terrible idea for the convention staff, administrators, whatever, to do this. Just a bad look. Listen, Rick Stiener, fine worker, but we're not talking about drawing Hulk Hogan money at the convention, right? Why open yourself up after what happened last year? It wasn't like there was a big coming to God moment that Rick had afterwards publicly either. Why open yourself to this criticism is all I'm thinking for Rick Steiner. Like, why? Do you not think there's going to be some kind of backlash? No, it's wrestling, right? So the fake belt militia, they want their autographs, and, they may not care whether he's there or not. So financially, from the fan standpoint, it might not be a big deal. So it would have been up to the workers, if they felt so inclined, to not participate in an event that would have given Rick another payday after the things he said to and about Giselle. Now, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I've seen some of this shit posted too, like, what is it? No one's entitled to their opinion, or, we're so woke that I don't know why I always slip into that accent when I have these views, when I have to express these views. It just sounds better, I guess, coming that way. But so people saying that not in First Amendment could say what we want. It wasn't just said as his man. It was like an assault. It was like a verbal assault, very insulting, demeaning, and to Giselle. So a little different. Of course, Rick can have an opinion. You can all have an opinion on that. But when you're firing it off audibly, it becomes a less than lethal. So I just thought, why put yourself through that if you're running this convention? And so then I saw subsequent to that, after consulting with some LGBTQ organization, that he had been removed for a failure to make any kind of apology to the parties. It seemed like it could have all
Brian Bell was who they talked. Yeah.
Could have just all been avoided if they didn't bother putting him on anymore.
Well, what happened was somebody that was bringing a lot of talent, Tony Hunter, and he brings Scott. He always brings. He brought Scott to Knoxville. But he's got like Steamboat, the Hardys. I mean, he's got good talent, and Ron Simmons. So I think that he was bringing. He's got Magnum. He's got Arn. That will go back to Arn. That was upsetting. But I think it was just like, hey, can Rick come? And I just don't think it just wasn't thought out. I don't think there was any malice in it. It just I don't think. Say, hey, can Rick come? Yeah, sure. Like, because there was an attempt to. I can see why it happened. I'm not saying in any form or fashion that it wasn't. I wouldn't have tried to even open the door with it happening at a Wrestlecon where he was kicked out of,
Mm-hmm.
and then turn around and come back to Wrestlecon. I wouldn't have done it, but Tony's like a really sweet human being, and he's the kind of person that believes everybody should get a second chance. That's who Tony Hunter is. So if you know the man, you would understand how he would, in his estimation, not want to, make
That's fine. And if I were on the convention, I'd say, Tony, I looked at your list. That's fine. Not this fucking guy. Too many fucking headaches from last year. Bring everybody else. That's all.
Not too many headaches. A headache. It's not like he's
Oh no, yeah, no, but too many headaches. Too many headaches. Too many people.
It's just a headache. It's just a headache.
But it's a big headache. It's not. Oh, he didn't get there on time. That's a headache that you go. All right.
I'm just saying though. It's not like he's a serial fucking abuser. I guarantee you that situation played out in Detroit, there would be nothing that came out of Rob Steiner's mouth that was derogatory. He will not make that mistake again. I think that's how it was looked at. You know, the thing is that people forget, Robbie's my age.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew up in Port Huron, Michigan. He didn't grow up in Detroit.
I'm not from there. What's the difference?
It's not Detroit. Growing up in Detroit, you were very diversified. Growing up in Port Huron, you're just not. There's a big difference between here and here,
mm-hmm.
You know? And
then one might not be accepting of different people.
And then he went and he moved to Cherokee County, which is, I guarantee you, Biden got 1%. You know, it's not exactly some place where the gay community is in a strong. It's just.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that at one point that county was one of those last counties that had don't let your ass be here when the sun. That whole shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those places. Okay. So that's where, not knowing pronouns, maybe kind of, like when he was growing up and you landed on Mediterranean cost you $2 to buy, Baltic cost you $4. Now all of a sudden he lands on Mediterranean, it's $1,100, and he's still pass and go getting $200.
I got to throw a flag. I get what you're saying,
but
and you know what? And I could sit next to you at a table if I felt similarly as I'm signing, and Giselle walks by, and I could lean over to you and go, "I don't fucking get this shit going on. I just do not get it." And that's what you're talking about. But to start to verbally.
It was horrible.
I'm going to be careful with my verbs.
It was
express loudly to the person.
And I have people
that's a different line.
And I have people that are involved in her life. I have I have several friends that care deeply about that human being. So I am in no way fucking. I just think that there's a scene and Against All Odds, and fucking James Woods and Jeff Bridges.
What a great theme song too. You want to give us a little bit of that?
Yeah, I can't right now. They've been fighting over fucking Rachel Ward this whole fucking movie, and fucking she just looks at fucking Jeff Bridges at one point and she goes, "Can it just one fucking time, not be life or death?" I'm like, fuck. Like, both these guys are pulling at her, and it's just like, I feel that way sometimes. Like, can a human being make a mistake? I've known fucking Robbie Steiner for 30 fucking years. He is a decent man. He's not he doesn't fucking, I don't think he's ever, he's just not a me. I don't know what fucking set that off. I don't know why that happened. It was wrong, but you could name 50 other people. I mean, when I heard I said, Robbie? Like, what?
And I think that there probably would have been a second chance had he just done one thing and said, "I'm sorry, keep my opinions to myself. That was not the forum for me to say how I feel, and I didn't mean to make anyone feel. I'm sure if you heard something like that from him, not the best
it
Rick
would have.
Steiner
It
impersonation.
was such a fucking horrible venue. That didn't help, man. A very isolated,
You've watched too much Suits. You're Rick
No,
Steiner's attorney right now.
I'm not Rick Steiner's attorney.
The venue.
I'm just the fucking When you have when I don't know anything about it for fucking till the next day. That's if I was in the convention.
Yeah.
On the convention floor,
Mhm.
I would have known fucking 30 minutes after the shit went down tops, and I would have fucking personally walked over there.
Okay.
So I mean, that would have made a difference of this whole situation. When it first went down, me walking over there and pulling him aside would have fucking been night and day how this played out.
Right.
Well,
my only point being that the flip-flopping on the part of the convention just was a bad look for them. They should have just avoided it and just said,
Yeah, but it's already. Why even bring it up then? Because it's already done.
What's in the news? I didn't print the stories. It's all over the news. That's how I found out about it.
You've had a hard on for this all week.
Oh, get out! You're smoking.
You have. I did what I could.
That was a joke. You think he's referring to in the text somebody sent. We had a list of stuff that we would cover, and so this was one of them. And at that point, he was still coming to the event. And then somebody sent, it might have been Dom, sent the follow-up article and said, he's been removed. So jokingly, I said, yep, did what I could. We're funny sometimes. All right, listen.
Bullshit.
Enough of this frivolity. It's time for Blue Chew and the stiff one of the week.
Good.
Because Blue Chew is the unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. They've been here long and strong with us since day one, and they are still here sponsoring the stiff one of the week segment. You take these tablets anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead and be ready whenever the opportunity arises for a little bit of the hidey-ho. Process is simple. I want you to go to BlueChew.com, consult with their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Best part, all done online. No visits to the doctor, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door in discreet packaging. Do they work? Do they work? Just go to Twitter and hashtag some of those Blue Chew comments and find out if they work. Just had a tweet to us the other day thanking us for turning him on to Blue Chew. They're going to help you have better sex, and I want you to discover your options at BlueChew.com. Just chew it and do it, baby. We've got a special, as we always do, for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo NASH at checkout. You're just going to pay $5 for the shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code NASH, to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details on important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the stiff one of the week. This one does relate to Steven Seagal. He is one of the individuals that are consistently talked about as being a terrible person to work with in Hollywood.
Oh, he stiffs the stunt guys.
And yes, a lot of the stunt guys actually have brought up issues, but then just generally terrible to work with. He was on Saturday Night Live one time, and they were doing the Hans and Franz segment on Pump You Up, and they were joking with him like, oh, you bet you can't even lift these weights with those tiny little arms. And in the writing meeting, he was like, he was objecting to the fact that they were making fun of him. Anyway, here's Tom Arnold with a great story about working with Steven Seagal on set.
Okay, Steven Seagal, a great man, great actor. I mean, this was his big chance. Joel Silver produced this movie. This is a big movie, and was it DMX? DMX, and Anthony Anderson is my partner in this movie, and Anthony Anderson and I have great chemistry, hilarious. And Andre Bakawiak, I got to get his name, was the director. He's this brilliant director. And we were shooting on a houseboat lake up in Toronto. And the director said, well, let's practice. Let's rehearse this scene one time. It's kind of complicated. We're sitting around, it's DMX or whatever. And Steve Segal's like, I don't rehearse, man. And he goes, no, seriously, just for camera, will you let us rehearse? No, let's just shoot it. Let's shoot this. He goes, okay. So anyways, he starts and Steve Segal's like, well, I will tell you one thing. And he starts to get up. He goes, I'm going to kick all your asses. And he starts walking out towards what he thinks is a door, but it's not the right door. It's the door that goes into the ocean. Okay, I swear. And I'm going to say, oh my gosh, you're going to the wrong door. But then I know what's happening. So I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. And he takes a step and he drops into the ocean, just out of frame. And you know, at the time he colored in his hair, he had about that much black, like magic marker kind of thing. He's a great guy, by the way. And he wouldn't wear a hairpiece, so he just painted in. And if you watch the movie up close, you could go, oh my God, there's like an inch of black stuff. And he's like kind of fat for a muscle guy. He's got very big wrists, so. And he's, you know, and he, and that, so I looked down and I was like, holy buddy. And so he comes up, he's sort of embarrassed, and because, you know, and the black stuff is ready up. But, you know, that was fun. That was great.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
A great moment.
That's
but
amazing.
I remember going, I should tell him. And I look at the director and he's like, and then he walks and then.
Last question on the list.
I love
and
Steven Seagal. He's a good dude.
We believe you.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he's very sensitive.
Wow.
For real, like this, he's going to hear about it. He's going to say, why did you? And I'm going to be like, oh my God, it's an amazing story, buddy. Legend.
Great.
I would just fucking look at fucking Steven Seagal and say, dude, have you ever watched yourself run? Uncle. I never. Defense rest. Oh, this is so. I want to go back to real quick the Steiner situation. Okay, because
does he color his hair at all?
No,
what reminded you of it?
Well, being on a lake in Toronto and walking into the ocean, I think that fucking threw me off. The lake ocean. I get it because it was probably one of the Great Lakes, and they do look like oceans.
They look like oceans. They're vast. Go ahead.
No, but I just
counsel for Steiner.
No, this is why I think it upsets me to such a high degree.
What does?
His behavior.
Okay.
Because it's like I have several friends that are, I mean, I love these guys to death, but they will fucking, they will burn our Constitution before they will see Trump for what he is. I mean, and I don't get it.
And you're saying that Rick is one of them, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that it's, if you're not kosher with somebody who has a different lifestyle than you, I don't get it. I don't get where it upset. I can understand that it's not for you.
Right. Yeah, that was my point.
I would never judge anybody. You know, like I would have so fewer incredible people in my life if I just judged by what your preferences or what your standards are, or, you know. And it's the same thing as politically. I still love these friends of mine. It's just, it's very hard for me to absorb it. I mean,
don't you think that, and I guess I'll blame the Trump years for this, not necessarily him directly, but yeah, him directly too. You used to be able to have some political discourse, or maybe not even talk politics, with somebody who was on the other side of the aisle from you and still be able to have a good time and fuck around or hang out or whatever. It just seemed in those 4 years, it became people's entire identities. It's like you couldn't even spend fucking time with people before they reminded you that there was a deep divide and a line in the sand between the shit that you thought and the shit that they thought. No?
Yeah. No,
this is very new.
As soon as you as soon as you put that red hat into the equation, and that took off, that became, I mean, it became more identifying than anything else I've ever seen in our country. And I'm over that whole situation. I mean, he got beat. He ran against Biden. He got beat. He got beat by 8 million votes. He tried over 30 times to get a court to hear the case. It never happened. Now it looks like he's getting now, and I think what's happening is, I guess what really upset me the most is him still trying to play the victim after this. He got the letter on Sunday, because basically what that letter is, it's the prosecution's way of saying, bro, fucking everybody flipped. That's what it is. That's what this is. This is, buddy, we just fucking crossed everybody, and they all said fuck that. Just like what state was it that they had the electors? Like 9 of them flipped. Georgia.
Oh yeah, that was today. I saw. Yeah.
Nine of those fuckers flipped. And then you got the 16 up in Michigan.
16 in Michigan, yes.
That are they're all involved in mail fraud. That's like a 20-year ride alone on that.
Right.
So those motherfuckers will be flipping like. So you've got all this going on, but then I sit there today and I'm taking a shit, and I'm looking at Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart is going over the fact of.
Was he in your bathroom?
Huh? No, yeah, he was. He's in my fucking. I had the claw on my phone, and so Jon Stewart is making the point of this. The dude raised $250 million for him to go after and prove the fact that he won.
Mm-hmm.
That $250 million isn't accounted for. Like how is that not part? Like, it's what, having some fucking classified information in your fucking bathroom, or fucking, like, why are we not doing the Al Capone here?
You're following the money.
Yeah, like why are we doing this?
I don't know if it's a crime to say, help me with my legal costs here, folks. And he wasn't. It
wasn't his legal cost. It was his cost for something that was clearly Barr had already said that it was done.
But his position was that it was illegally taken from him, so he wanted to go through.
And he didn't continue to spend any money in that avenue. Therefore, it was a complete fraud.
Interesting.
Okay, so I look at that and I just say to myself, like, but still, what's he got? He's got 47% of the Republican vote.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen though. We still, that's not going to.
Well, that's so you've got the case with the Stormy Daniels thing. Whatever.
The money, yeah.
He tried to get that venue changed out of New York City. That ain't going to happen. So that's staying there. Then he's got the Mar-a-Lago, the FBI raid, because they were weaponized because they asked for the fucking documents for a year. But God forbid, after a year, you say, you know what, motherfucker, we're coming and getting our shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And this, of course, has never happened before to a president. Well, we've never had a motherfucker committing felonies weekly.
That was a great Rick Stiener impression. Congratulations.
Thanks. So, you keep fucking, man, you're hard to fucking talk through.
Hard to talk to?
Through. Trying to keep a fucking pattern here. And,
I'm trying to keep it entertaining. Go ahead.
Okay. To pull your cock out. So,
I want to show you up.
Yeah, out of a cold ocean. So he they came out last night and they basically said that they needed more time for the Mar-a-Lago because they had 1.113 million documents, like 3 days of 3 years of surveillance tapes and 1,565 classified documents. They said, and then of course the judge on there that's a Trump appointee that already did some favorable things the first time this came through her court, and hasn't recused herself. She kind of thought for a minute, and then the prosecution said, no, this is what we're going to go after. This is they basically gave them a thesis of what they were going to be using. And if they gave that to the defense, you couldn't bring anything else into it after that.
Discovery, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. You need to look at these things. This is what we're coming after. And let's go and let's get this. Because what's going to happen, and this is why, I mean, I might not like Donald Trump, but I respect the fuck out of him because he knows how to play this fucking system. He's trying to
Is
push
respect the word, though, that you'd use?
Streetwise? Fuck yeah. That's respect. Fuck, man. I respect it. He's playing, he plays the game, man. He knows the game. How is he better at this fucking, how is he better at politics than anybody fucking else?
He's got, because his followers are, his political followers do it because he was president and he was in power. If the numbers start to shift, you're not going to see Washington follow or the GOP hardliners follow him. But his base, his people, the ones that stand out on the corners with the flags on Saturday mornings on 100 in Flagler Beach, they're gullible, easily led, and indoctrinated, drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak. So that makes it a lot easier. When you've got to convince those people.
God, you sound so much like Rick Stiener right there.
Versus, you're very hard to talk through when I'm trying to make a point like this. You know what I want to tell you about right now? I want to talk about Florida Man, since we're talking about Florida. Florida Man, Jersey guy, everyone's favorite.
You're so fucking malleable.
I'm malleable. I know. I really switched. Switch hit. So, Florida Man, Jersey guy, 2 headlines. One, a real Jersey guy headline. One, a real Florida Man headline.
This turned into a fun game to now fucking me having to fucking call in CSI for fucking a landline.
No, but you'll appreciate this one.
All right. Let's see.
Because last week, you made a point that there was really nothing in the blandness of the headlines to indicate, right? There were no indicators. Well, here's a very similar headline in the 2 stories, but you can sift through the evidence of the headline. All right. Okay. First one says, man caught after attempting to outrun police on a lawnmower, and man arrested in Ocean while fleeing cops. Man caught after attempting to outrun police on a lawnmower.
There's a Jersey Shore, and there's the Florida coast. So we know that both right. Of those, and then you have there's grass in Jersey, and there's grass in Florida.
Well, let's see how you do with this, young man.
This is fucking a 50-50.
I don't agree.
I just got to guess.
I don't agree.
All right, I'm going grass, Jersey, other guy, Florida.
Okay, now here's why I thought you would have gotten this correct. You didn't, but here's why I thought you would have. Those ride-on lawnmowers where you would attempt to outrun the police, if there's any, I mean, you've got a rig, I guess, that you think you can outrun the police on. If you're only mowing your lawn 5 months of the year because the snow is coming and the cold weather, would you invest in a rig like that? That's
Yes.
a Florida machine.
No, everybody that I know up in Michigan that's got an acre's got a fucking riding lawnmower.
Well, you got a lot of wooded areas up there too. Here,
So
I don't know anyone in
you've
Jersey
never
that
went
has
through
that gimmick.
Well, fuck, we're not talking fucking Hoboken. How about fucking, there's a whole fucking other end of fucking New Jersey that's got farms and all kind of shit.
Well, farms, yes. You may want
no,
something
I'm saying
like
you
that.
you act like fucking like the only Jersey is what you can see from fucking Manhattan.
I think that you've got a much higher probability when you have to mow your lawn. You don't have a lawn, but if you had a lawn, you'd have to mow it.
No, because I live on the beach, so nobody
12 months a year.
So I'm just saying, I don't see anybody riding a lawnmower anywhere
I'm
where I
15
live.
minutes from you,
15.
and everybody on the block has a ride-on lawnmower.
No, they don't.
On my block, down there,
there might be one fucking guy that has one in the back of a fucking pickup truck that comes and cuts everybody's lawn in the fucking neighborhood.
and that guy has the ride-on gimmick too, and
But
you got to
that's the
do
only
it every
guy.
week and a
That's
half.
it. The lawn. That's it. There's not anybody. You might have thought that was a good, but it was a horrible fucking clue. It was another fucking 50-50. And he gave me an ocean on both. I mean, it's like
Exactly. Well, that one was taken.
Well,
out,
that
but it
was
the lawnmower clue.
No,
it
was. So I went opposite and went. Of course, the ocean would be the fucking Florida. So I'll go ocean. Jersey.
Tonight, I feel like Vince McMahon, having been summoned to Indianapolis, Indiana, to sit before Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, and Scott Hall.
That was very. We were very cordial,
very combative.
No, there was nothing combative about that. Fucking
no, well, maybe not. Maybe you were cordial to Vince. He got a better shake than I did.
He came all the way fucking down to fucking talk to his. He gave a shit.
You know what could take care of that curly hair up your ass tonight? Manscaped.
Let's just remember where this fucking show started.
In Florida.
With my son's death. So, yeah, I might have a fucking... I might not be having the best of days.
Do that, Kevin.
No, I'm just saying you're acting like it's fucking... What when you watch this back and tell me who fucking got snippy?
What, with the Rick Stiener thing?
You just fucking beat that fucking like a
no,
dead dog.
Don't invoke Tristan. You know I bring him up respectfully, and I never make light of your plight or Tamara's plight or anything. And much as I could be.
T, you've been listening to this. What do you think?
He's giving you the finger. I can see it.
No, he said uncle on the fucking Steiner shit.
Listen, as off the rails as this is going, the one thing that we can both agree on is that Manscaped's treatment of a man's beard is like no other company's. And you know what? It's time to unleash the beach beast within you. This summer, Manscaped is here to help you level up your beach game with their new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. They're going past waist deep in the grooming game and diving in head first now. Okay, we're going to talk facial hair fantasies, and you are going to go to manscaped.com and use the code Kliq for 20% off and free shipping. The Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. Okay, first off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. Can you imagine that? 20 lengths with the one guard. No more messy drawers full of extra add-ons and stuff. Titanium coated T-blade. It's tough on hair, but smooth on your face, leading to single stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. Beard shampoo and conditioner. Listen, you need to remember that your hair is different on your face. Your beard hair is more coarse, okay? It's easier to damage than the hair on your head. Next, the kit has Manscaped's beard oil, which Kevin told us last week can maybe work as a something else if you're alone in the hotel room there. Cap off the kit with the Beard Balm. It's a pomade that shapes, styles, moisturizes, and tames for a sculpted look to attract any fellows or dames. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code KLIQ. Manscaped Beard Hedger. 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths. AEW has a banned move list, right? So this is what's come to the forefront this week. And so I'm going through it.
Kenny Omega wishes that was in a retro fucking. If we're gonna take the fucking the Tiger fucking bomb paralyzed 91 out.
So it says that with this list, they need to be approved by an AEW coach and medical staff before talent can perform.
I think my favorite is, where's the steps? Throwing is no, like, there it is, the bottom one, the bottom one. Go to the bottom one. Bottom, how do we not know what the bottom one is?
Chairs? No.
It's ring steps. But
okay. Throwing people.
But they talk about just the steps. It's the last thing on the fucking list.
Well, everything's there. Commentary table, bell table, guardrails, barricades. Something interesting that you brought up.
But you're not allowed to throw them into the step. Oh, there it is. Throwing people into, through, or over.
Over when they take the bump and spill. Yeah.
Throw through the steps? You're going to throw somebody through metals? What is this? Did Marvel buy fucking AEW? What the fuck is going on?
It was interesting to me, Kevin, that they made mention of bumps on the apron. Because I don't know if we talked on air, if we were talking off
fuck
air.
No, we were talking the fucking the giving people fucking moves on the spots and bumps on the ring apron. It's like
a metal bar.
I swear to God, this list was taken off our show.
That would never happen. So I'm going through this, and I don't think that any of this is untenable for a company to pull off, right? You have some judgment calls here, like high risk dive or top rope moves. They put a few examples: the 450, 630 moonsault, etc. Now you're in the ring, you're calling a match. Is anything off the top rope high risk? Maybe. But that leaves a lot up to judgment. But a lot of the other stuff on here: kendo sticks, hammers, ring bells, thumbtacks, barbed wires, skewers, for God's sakes, aerosol sprays. I think any of this is unreasonable to say.
I think right now Abby's saying, "I'm so glad I fucking worked when I did."
Done. He'd be finished. Be a manager. Crowd brawling. Now, I talked to you about this earlier, and your first reaction was, you go, WCW when Time Warner came in.
Same fucking deal, man. Man, we got handcuffed to you. And it wasn't so much. They didn't fuck with the cruiserweights, but the guys we had were they weren't as crazy as they are now. But that group of guys we had that worked at those, we used to call it, like Eric and I we used to call them car crashes. Those matches those guys had were just, you watch that match that Eddie and Ray have.
Oh,
and
God, yeah.
Ray's in that like purple outfit, looks like kind of like the Black Panther. But I mean,
But now, so you're up against at the time.
yep.
You're up against.
Wesley hit us with Halloween Havoc '97. In case anybody's looking for that,
Okay.
hasn't seen it.
At the time when Time Warner comes in, you're up against the Crash TV era of WWE Attitude, right? And so now you've got to compete with what they're doing on TV.
I remember Eric and I were sitting in the back of a limo. We were leaving Nitro, and Eric just looked at me and goes, "How in the fuck can we not get anybody over? We can't get anybody new over." I said, "Like who?" He goes, "Like Val Venus." I'm like, "Because we can't have Jenna Jameson on our fucking television show." Like, it's one thing to say you're a porn star. It's another thing to say you're a porn star with the hottest porn actress on your arm. Like, it's like Vince McMahon coming down the ramp. That's the owner of the company. Makes a difference. Makes a difference between, Nick Bockwinkel coming down for WCW saying he owns the company.
Right.
So
when you guys would standards and practices be in the meetings with you?
they were in our fucking booking meetings.
Right. That's what I remember. Yeah. So how does the discussion not become contentious? Like you guys don't start overtly insulting the standards and practices people and saying like,
No, you just it's a dude, so you just make sure that every time you bring up something, you take it 200 miles an hour. And
so they can't decipher what you're talking about?
Well, no, you take it 200 miles an hour, then by the time you cut it back to 60 miles an hour where you wanted to be, they're just so happy that they think that they won. Okay, well, how about we just compromise? We just cut one of his hands off. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Just one hand. All right. He's got another.
Because when you're throwing everything directly, it's like you're holding up this process. You're holding up this process. You're holding up this process. We can't compete because of you. You motherfucker. You gonna help us or what?
And would you say that overtly, like you're never going to get ratings if you keep taking away what we do here? Would you guys?
No, I would always babyface it. I know you're doing your job, man, but Jesus, I mean,
right?
We can't do ours. We can't do ours. We can't compete against what we're up against.
What were the most unreasonable standards and practices objections? Were there any that you just didn't? I'm sure a lot you understood.
So remember with Lenny and Lodi?
Lodi, yeah.
Lenny and Lodi. It was an angle, and I was writing TV then. So I wanted these guys to just get closer and closer and closer, and like finish each other's sentences. But this thing was going to grow over time. And I wanted everybody to think that these guys were gay lovers. But in essence, what it was is they had been separated at birth and taken to different foster homes, and they were brothers. They would not let me tell the front of that story and make it as graphic as it was to make it where they were just brothers. It was going to be just good storytelling, and it would have taken and put interest on Lenny and Lodi, and they just said no, we're not, we can't take that gamble. I'm like, Jesus, like fucking God forbid if we were to become like that. That's the whole thing. You're not overtly ever like everything was supposed to be double entendre and overt, and you had to, you can watch a lot of things that have very mature subject matter with a 6-year-old kid, and they're not they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
It's like when you first realize and you have a child, and the child takes 2 steps and does the ass bump, And then if you run over to them, oh my God, they start screaming. If you no-sell it, they don't know. They just took an ass bump. They got a diaper that's full of piss at waist. It's like they're fucking, hitting a fucking mattress down there. It's like, come on, man.
Right.
And when your kid takes that first fucking stumble into the fucking coffee table, and you realize, okay, all tables have got to be moved out of this house now.
So do you think this is all necessary then, this whole list? And we know why the Time Warner thing happened. Big corporation, corporate mentality.
I think that a lot of people, I think that what you do, and this is just, I mean, God forbid I'm 64 years old, but what you do when you allow that much blood and that much just spot fest, you paint yourself into a certain demographic that's going to watch that program. And you're not going to, they haven't grown that audience. And there's a reason why they're not growing the audience, because while in the meantime, the WWE is doing some nice ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm a homer. I'm a WWE guy. I'm blowing everybody and get my Legends deal.
But this, assuming this is an outgrowth of the attention that the Tiger Driver got, is this degree of caution necessary? Did it warrant
I
this?
think
On this list, you've got something like any physicality involving referees, managers, extras, celebrities, or special guests. So a ref can't take a bump now.
Now, who didn't Callis get hurt? How did he get hurt?
Don Callis got hit by a fan in Mexico, I want to say. I'll bring this up so I'm totally accurate on this. I mean, things are a little crazy. Things are a little exciting down there. Tijuana, I believe, is the location here. It was the main event of Triple Mania in Tijuana. And he was attacked, I think, from behind by a fan, and they were going for his face, and he was bleeding, went to the hospital, and
so they beat the fuck out of it.
So the fan was upset about what he said, and he jumped him from behind, ripped his suit, quote, ripped his suit, concussed his eardrum, and busted open his mouth while he was trying to choke out Don from behind. So, you brought that up. That wasn't planned. That was certainly not a result of carelessness on part of the Federation.
I'd heard that he got injured.
He did, which...
I'll forget if I don't say it right now. So I'm watching Dynamite's the Wednesday show, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm watching Dynamite, and when I did Manchester, I hope they feel this way. If they don't, I'm not going to be hurt. But like Dax and Cash. And then I was already like, Cole and me were kind of cool. And then Brett, so that was like the four of those guys. We sat and we, had cocktails every night. And I became friends with them. So I, out of respect, I watched their stuff. So they're the tag champs. Dax and Cash are the tag champs. And so they start the show last Wednesday, and so they're like, 14 minutes into this tag match, and that's a long time. They've been picture in a picture and back and down. And one of the commentators says, "Well, I don't know how he got to it, but he said, and we got a lot more to go than this." in this match.
Oh, don't touch that dial. The real wrestling match has a lot more.
Yeah, this match has a lot more. We got another, according to my
My
paper,
format.
we got 17 more minutes. And I just sat there and I just went like, ugh.
Brilliant. But
Wesley's saying it was 2 out of 3 falls, to be fair. Yeah, it was 2 out of 3 falls, but come on. They knew. They knew exactly what the time was going to be.
so
Who are they wrestling? They look like, those guys look like they both done time. I've never seen either of those cats. And the one guy's like JayWhite. Which one was kind of, who's the taller of the two? JayWhite.
Jay.
He, like, when they showed him like walk down to they cut a promo at the beginning. Then they showed him when they came down to the ring, and I thought, these are they're small fuckers. But he's like a kind of a taller. They're both like they both look like they fucking could go, like in a shoot. They both are wiry, but the JayWhite fucking, like, he's got that. I'm thinking like, well, these crackheads. And they were just like, it's, and no disrespect to the Briscoes, but they kind of had that same vibe that the Briscoes had, where it's just just something about them, just something about them. And that fucking JayWhite, he caught my fucking eye.
I don't want to get off the Don Callis thing yet, since you brought it up in relation to what we were talking about with AEW. And it ties into here because of believability. No one wants a wrestler to be attacked. Fans should, of course, never cross that line with any performer or athlete.
Does Callis know anything? Doesn't he have like some kind of mixed martial arts background or something?
But does this not speak a little bit to believability and the passion of the fans? I thought we'd never see a time again where fans wanted to get at.
You're a TJ, man.
With workers.
You're in Tijuana.
Right. So that's a part of it, right?
Fuck yeah,
crazy
man.
Mexican, or even like Puerto Rican fans, I always heard.
Yeah,
Not Puerto Rican
man.
fans in Queens. I'm talking about Puerto Rican fans in Puerto Rico.
The died to meet you.
That level.
We're going to get a case of wine pie like we used to.
Is this a little Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
This is phenomenal.
I said you said Puerto Rican girls. I said, dying to meet you.
Trying to meet you. So, but like as a heel, I'm an ignorant mark the way I'm going to ask this question, but there's a shred of truth in it that hopefully someone can articulate better than I. Is that passion not the home run for a heel? You don't want your face clawed from behind. You don't want to be knifed like Blackjack Mulligan across his leg in wherever the fuck.
No, because I don't think so, man.
But don't you go, I got him.
No, you've got somebody mentally ill in the building. Because like it would be like saying that you believe that the guy in your house, the reason you shot him 33 times was you had saw the real Santa Claus earlier that day on the radar tracker, and you knew he was a turkey when he entered your house.
But you're working as a heel, though.
Fuck that.
Working as a heel for Santa Claus.
I
don't think wrestlers should be hit. I'm not saying that. But
no, I don't. I just, but like when they used to toss shit, the first night it was like
when you walked out of the ring at Bash at the Beach.
We knew we had heat. And it was a little bit because that guy. There was a guy that hit the ring that I clipped. Thank God he was drunk. Thank God he didn't know what he was doing. But if it had been 6 of them fucking, and one of them had a fucking box cutter, it could have been a fucking really shitty night.
Absolutely, and we wouldn't want that. But just take how it happened. Happened.
So how
the
it
garbage,
happened,
all the fucking garbage.
Then it became opera conditioning, and everywhere you went, they thought it was okay to toss whatever the fuck they had. And a lot of back then, a lot of places still served fucking bottles of beer. So
you don't go behind the curtain after Bash at the Beach and Eric goes, "Worked. See that? See that?" No, not excited by that reaction.
Absolutely, fucking. I mean,
Right.
but at the same time, it's just like, if you showed up with fucking to your senior prom and you were 17 years old when Angela Jolene was fucking Tomb Raider, you pretty much getting you're turning fucking
we need a handout. We need a handbook for your analogies.
You're turning Hogan heel. It's just like, this is fucking, this puts weird science to shame,
Oh, good Lord. Well, I don't know. So
Kelly LeBrock was fucking hot in her time.
Kelly LeBrock was
Is
definitely.
that her name, LeBrock?
Kelly LeBrock, and that. Yeah, tell me anyone who was 15, 16, like I was when Weird Science came out.
I think I was
didn't
21.
go there.
I was 21 probably.
Right. Like, God, maybe this technology will be real someday.
Sat with my wife the other night and watched fucking Jaws.
Oh, the first one, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just haven't watched that in so long. I remember wrapping around the Southgate Theater to go see that in 1975. I was a sophomore in high school, and like Robert Shaw, still, that's one of my favorite performances of it. He's so good. So we're looking at that, and like, you take the Martha Vineyard shit out of that. What a fucking cheap shoot that was, right?
Well, if you've seen, there are some great, and you can probably get them on YouTube, the documentaries. You've seen all those. Okay.
Yeah.
When the fucking shark stopped working in the middle of the water, however many hours, setting up the shot. Shark's not working. Okay, there goes the fucking day. And having to get only horizon in the background because there was, the city around them.
Right.
So waiting until everything floated into exactly the right spot. Speed.
When we shot for Magic Mike, we would shoot for like 20 minutes and then turn around and drive that 20 minutes back to turn around and drive that. So all that,
it was consistent.
Everything was consistent. Sunlight. You couldn't turn it and come back and have the sun on the rock, So yeah, it's
that movie. People don't understand now because there's media all over the place. There's 7,000 movies sitting for you on Netflix when you're done here. There's shit all over your phone. There's Pornhub. But when you used to have to go to the movies to watch a movie, other than the movie of the week on Channel 9 or something.
God, we're old.
Totally, I know. You hear people, you hear the comments already?
Yeah.
I can see them coming up. But, well, at least this week they can't say we agree all the time. But what Jaws did to the beach scene, people going to the beach and fucking around with each other and teasing about the shark, it was phenomenal.
Nobody, we went down, I came down with my parents to Daytona Beach, like shortly after that for and I didn't go. I used to go play I used to walk way, way down where there was these hoops across from the ocean. I'd go down there and fucking just shoot for a couple hours every day, bounce my basketball the whole way back. And then when I got hot, I would go through the beach walkovers and I would go out, and I'd swim out as far as I could. But then I'd put the basketball underneath my knees and sit so I could fucking float out there, which probably would have looked good for a hammerhead. But I didn't go anywhere near the water. And I remember my mom telling me when the movie Psycho came out, like there wasn't a fucking woman on the planet that fucking
showering
took a shower.
alone.
Yeah, nobody took a shower. Everybody switched to baths. Like my mom said, it was like 2 years before she took a shower.
And
So,
to see it on the big screen, I mean, those
Yeah.
reveals when the shark would come up, those few shots they have with those jump scare moments of the shark, seeing it on your TV at home is one thing, but seeing it,
oh
you
man,
know, 14 feet.
the first
high.
time when he says we need a bigger boat, and that you were in the theater, that was pretty fucking special.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah.
That was a great one. Listen, if you have any live events you need to go to, GameTime.co is where you're going to go. Trust me. Put the app on your phone. I showed you guys how easy it was for me to score tickets to Bruce Springsteen here in Jersey on the day of the show. Okay? Okay? There's a few things I want you to contemplate. Springsteen in Jersey, day of the show. When everyone was busy mowing their lawns here, I got tickets to Springsteen in a snap. Their interface is brilliant. It's the thing I love most about it, okay? You can bring up the map of the arena or stadium, click on the seats that have available tickets. You see the price right there, and it also gives you a seat view from that seat of the stage or field or whatever it is, or the court, whatever's going on. Talking sports, talking events, talking theater, all at GameTime.co. Put the app on your phone. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful, and they've made it fast, easy, and fun. And talk about fast. Minutes after I completed the transaction, the tickets were in my wallet on my iPhone, okay? This is the place for the last-minute ticket deal that you are looking for. The Game Time guarantee, by the way, means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Do you hear that? 110%, for God's sakes. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code KLIQ for $20 off. Download the Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right. I shouldn't be the only person with access to Kevin Nash to be able to talk to him and ask him questions. You have it too with hashtag AskNash. We also have our live audience here, courtesy of KliqThisTV.com. When you sign up, become a member, a mere $9.99 a month. You get to be here every week live, ask your questions, voice your comments throughout the show, and you get exclusives like tonight's Nash and Friends with the great Kevin Sullivan. We're going to go back to those days in WCW and have some fun. But first, Rob D says, hey, fellas, love the podcast. Somehow this clip came across my feed on YouTube. Kevin, do you remember this? And did you ever find the guy afterwards? This is, of course, the clip from Daytona on MTV, right? This was the...
This is Panama City.
Panama City, okay.
Yeah.
Contact sport made for Ed and Dre's favorite spring break moment.
This is a news clip of the event.
World Championship Wrestling cohorts in NWO were attacked by an audience member.
He hit him with a rock. It was a rock. It was a rock? Yeah, he hit him with a rock. So he started it. And Nash, who's 7'3", about 425 pounds, he jumped off the stage. And then picked him up and body slammed him in the sand. It was the best thing I ever seen in my life.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. When the show's over, we want to press charges. We'll come find you.
All right. Actually arrested the guy.
So, obviously you found him because you had him there.
Oh yeah, I had him arrested.
What was it? A rock?
Yeah, he threw a rock at me.
Okay.
And it was so funny because he threw the rock, and I knew where it came from, so I sold it, and I fucking just turned and I looked, and I stared, and everybody fucking went like this to him. They just looked at him like, fuck, like, dude, like, and I think it was by nature. And fucking, man, he took off running. I covered some ground and some fucking, I had to jump off that.
Insane,
I was
right?
on that, on that crippled leg. That's that fucking mom picking up the car off her kid fucking shit.
That's adrenaline there. Yeah.
I fucking was running behind him. It took me about 3 times like a lion. I was trying to fucking knock his feet together. And finally, I knocked his feet together, and he went down, And I fucking turned. I went to pull my hand back. He was a fucking little punk.
I saw your hand go like this. When you had him pinned with the one hand.
Because I always open. I mean, my whole thing is, if you got a fucking temper like I do, you should probably bare palm before you punch him.
Right.
I always do.
It's the difference between manslaughter and assault.
Yeah, I always hit people with an open hand. Because I've hit people before with my fist, and it's just, it cost me a lot more that way.
Very good.
So this kid got arrested. His fucking father and him file suit against me. So I get summons.
For what?
Wait,
what's the charge? Chasing the sun?
I think they call it a witch hunt. So
right. Shouldn't have kept all those fucking documents in your bathroom.
Fuck.
So go ahead. They file suit.
So they file a suit, and I call the attorney. I don't even get my attorney involved in it. I just call the attorney up. And I said, dude, you do realize, and I read him the case number, and so you can jot all this stuff. I said that your client was arrested for what he did, and did fucking like 9 months or 9 weeks. No, 9 months. He did like 9 months in jail for this. Because he was public intoxicated. I mean, they got him for some shit.
Okay.
So the guy calls the dad up and he's like, dude, you didn't tell me. He says, well, does that matter? He goes, yeah, it matters. He goes, you can't sue somebody for basically a crime committed against them by the person.
Right.
You know? It's like OJ suing fucking, Ron Goldman. I'm fucking suing you. What are you, jerky boy? It's punitive damages. Fuck, you hurt my reputation. So I said, well, I said, I'll settle with you. And the guy said, well, what's your settlement? I said, I'll settle for $1. And I said, that's what I'll settle for. I'll give you $1. And he said, Rod, can you, I said, no, that's it. I'll settle for $1. I said, if not, I'm coming to get your K car. Like, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to come after everything you own because I haven't done anything, and this will be a civil suit. I said, and I promise you I got enough money to make your life miserable. I said, so either take $1 and take it as a victory or just be done. And he took the $1.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Germinator, huge fan. Always thought Kevin Nash had the coolest nicknames, but wonder if you could steal somebody else's, what would it be? Anyone else have a cool moniker you would have gone with?
Not my
Big Daddy Cool.
Not my gig. Don't want to be nobody else. Fuck no. I'm cool.
John Hickson, who was your favorite character on Suits? And when did the show jump the shark? For me, was the season after Mike went to prison.
Yeah, I would agree.
Who's your favorite character?
Mike.
Okay. You know what? Had my finger on the button last night. Actually, the wife did. Turned on Netflix.
You know what?
Left it on the thumbnail. Trailer started, and I said, all the guys on the show watch this. We didn't dive though. We didn't go in.
No, because you're like me. You're going away. You got shit. The last thing you want to do is fucking be even semi-remotely fucking watching anything. Like, fuck that. Like, you couldn't pick a better time to travel because the sports are in the fucking desert right now.
Yeah.
I watched Wimbledon the other day. And I'm not talking about the finals. I mean, I'm just talking about like on a Thursday afternoon watching fucking two Spaniards. I've never fucking, you know.
Seed 28 playing Seed 29 tonight.
It's just like, fuck, man.
What do we got from the live audience? I know we have people here with questions. You
Such a sports junkie.
signed up, for God's sakes. What do we got here? Brandon Granger.
Black Sails.
Have you watched Black Sails? It was created by the same guys who created The Old Man.
No, I haven't seen it.
What outlet do we get that on, Brandon? What service? What outlet? Let us know. Who else?
Steve says Stars.
Okay.
I have Stars. I have
What else
Stars
we
on
got here?
demand.
WWE DXECW. Do you believe in psychic mediums, Kev? I saw one after losing a loved one. I received so much clarity and closure. There's no way I could have made it this far without that session. This the young lady with the Rugrats blanket? I think this is.
Do I? Yeah, I do. I believe in. Man, there's really a. I think I'm way more. I'm more of a spiritual human being than I am a religious human being. I believe. I believe that there's some people that are just. We're all mammals, you know, and like anything else, we're primal, and some of us have just, you know, there's always going to be that one that's just more intuitive, more in tune with you know, because we're animal. There was a lady that came up to my sister, and she said she had met my mom. And she said, I saw you. I had a dream with your mom in it. And my sister was like, oh, really? And she said, yeah. She said, she was with someone. And my mom, she thought maybe it was my dad, you know, Bob. And she names like some different people, maybe my aunt. And she said, no, he was young. He was a young man. Had dark hair and a beard. And I knew immediately that it was T.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, immediately. I just went and Tamara thought, and my sister Kim thought the same thing too. Like, wow, like fuck it. And then when later on, my wife had my mom wore Bougeron perfume, and my wife smelled Bougeron, and then she saw like a vision of my son with my mom, and it was just like,
wow.
There was nothing said or anything. It was just like, it was like my mom's way of saying, you know, he's with me. And that's the thing that happened when Tamara started to spot when she was carrying Tristan. And we both had that. I tell it on that Ghost Stories show where we both, I was at LaGuardia at that Marriott across from it. And I woke up in the middle of the night, like 3:00 in the morning. There was like smoke on the roof. And I thought the hotel room was on fire. And I saw this glowing thing. And I knew it was my mom. And I knew like it just was comforting. I knew that my son was going to be okay. And then I turned the light on. I looked around. There was no smoke in the room. There's nothing. I just went to bed, got up, caught my flight, but I went over to the payphones, and I called my wife in Arizona, and I said, you're not going to believe this. And she, you know, had she was telling me what she saw, and then we kind of narrowed it down to what time it happened. And then it was just like she saw the same thing. So it only made sense that my mom, who had seen all of her other grandchildren alive, and hadn't seen Tristan alive, would have been there for that.
She said you can see my psychic. She's psychic medium. She's in St. Pete. I could definitely get you connected to her if you'd like. She's amazing. Well,
yeah, I mean that's close enough. And Tamara and I were thinking about going. Like first thing we were thinking about doing is having all three of our stars read of what time, because it's weird, like we're all born like at 10 o'clock in the daytime. Like nobody was, and we all were. I really believe, man, like whenever you're born, like these fucking kids that get born at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're that guy that gets up at 5.
It is really funny. My daughters were born on opposite ends. My one daughter was born just after midnight. My other one was born just after noon. And my little one that was born at midnight was a night owl forever. I mean, even when she was little. And now loves to stay up late. It's funny. Yeah, there is something to that.
Yeah, I think it's like you're in there for 9 months, and that's you get on some kind of a biorhythm, and
yep.
So.
All right, well, thank you for that offer, WWE.
Yes, thank you.
Should I call you? What does she want to give us her name? I don't want to keep calling her WWE. She's amazing. Please tell him I truly love to get him connected. All right, and we'll see if that happens. We'll stay in touch. See, this is the family we've amassed. Like I said.
Yes.
Oh, let's see. Jake Station. Kev, have you ever been to DDP's Christmas party? If so, can you tell us anything about them?
I went to one of them, and Scott Norton jacked fucking Van Hammer. I think that's what, or was it Regal?
Sounds like Scott Norton.
I might have
fucking Minnesota
I don't
guys.
know,
Let me tell you,
man. I've got it, man. Was it Regal? Oh fuck! I'm getting old. Either way, it's good, but
yeah.
Fucking Regal's such a salty fucker, man. It just
great.
He's great. I mean, I just love him. I absolutely love Steve Regal. I worked with him when I was Oz, and he was they brought him in over. It's the London Arena, and I watched. He had a match with Giant Haystacks, and told such an amazing story, and bumped him. I mean, by far the best match of the night, because he just psychology, and then I got a chance to work him on that. We were there for I think 3 nights. I got a chance to work with him.
Wes Bradley. Hey, Kev, wondering whose idea it was to put the favored nations clause in your first WCW contract, and if WCW denied the clause, would it have influenced you and Scott's decision to make the jump?
No, Barry Bloom was the one that he was our manager agent, and his brilliance took care of a lot.
Were you the guys the first ever wrestlers to have the clause?
I think we were the first ones to have favorite nations.
Excellent.
Hulk just had the Hulk. Hulk didn't need a favorite nations. Hulk was just Hulk Hogan.
Right.
He had the red and yellow nations.
Right. That was that merch. That
brother.
Merch deal was the
brother
favorite nations. What else from the house here? Come on, let's get some more of our people in here. Let's see, Ryan Chenoweth, what was it like doing the empty arena matches in 1996 with Scott Hall? How was the process? Briefly, since it hadn't really been done before.
Well, they wanted us on television, and we kept telling them that I'm a stickler for shit that like details. So if we did a tape show and WCW didn't want us at their events, they would edit us out of the show. Simple as that. So they were like, "Oh, that's just your guys' way of not doing Saturday TVs." I said, "No, we'll do Saturday TVs." I said, "But we'll have them brought to you by us, the NWO." DiBiase was the money guy back then, and we'd bring these guys in, and Scott and I would pay the guys, the enhancement guys, we'd pay them extra money because we beat the fuck out of them.
You guys would go into your pocket for them?
Well, yeah, to give them a little extra, because man, when there's nobody in that building, you can't be throwing working punches.
Right. Yeah.
They got to
right.
kind of. I mean, you could. Everything we did, most of the shit we did was snug, but wasn't in their face.
Right.
Like across their back, fucking stuff like that. But we laid it in when we fucking.
Who else from the house here?
Seemed to work.
James Bedford. Hey, Kevin, you interested in writing a book with your career spanning from basketball through the military, wrestling, and acting career, balancing it with family life? It would be a day one read. I think I know the answer to this.
Yeah. It's just same as my wife when she says, "You've been everywhere in the world. Why don't you have any pictures?" I'm like, I have them all right here.
And that's where they'll stay.
It's just like my life. I didn't live it for nobody else.
What about something like advice book? Not necessarily your whole life, but like we talked about being the first one to put a favored nations clause in. You've negotiated with the biggest names in wrestling in our lifetime. Vince McMahon, Eric Bischoff, worked for Ted Turner, worked just an exploration as a fan. I'd love to read about the business of wrestling and how you were able to navigate it.
Barry and I actually talked about that the first couple of years, how shit was just because it was it was like landing on the moon. Like shit, shit still hasn't happened according to fucking
right. It was all in the studio. It was what's his name in England?
Yeah, Kubrick,
right.
But Aldrin, you ever see some of those Aldrin clips?
Buzz Aldrin, what about him?
Yeah, he was the second man on the
right.
Where the 8-year-old girl goes, what was it like to land on the moon? He goes, that's not a question for me. That's a question for you. And I'm just like maybe you'll do it in your lifetime. I haven't.
Oh, really? Is he?
Oh, yeah. There's a couple of. Go ahead and look that up. I think the only thing is, it's hard to hear Robert Kennedy. He's talking over all the clips.
I say, hey, right there. That's why they fucking weaponized fucking the space. The space thing was weaponized.
Jews in space. Who's next from the house here? What do we got? Anyone want to shout out? Humberto, would be awesome to get shouted out from Mr. Nash and Sean. I've been a day one diehard and just became an 11 soft member. So
we saw that on Twitter today.
I did see that. Thank you, Humberto.
Welcome.
You,
Humberto.
Make sure that you come to tonight, which is Monday, July 24th, and join us for Nash and Friends at 8:30 with Kevin Sullivan. David Van Boglin, what was the most painful thing some fan threw in the ring and pelted you with, Kev?
Didn't get me, but I watched. We were at Sturgis, and somebody, I don't know if they still make them, but I swear it was like a Powerade 48-ounce plastic bottle, and it got tossed from the crowd, and it was probably a little bit more than half full. But what happened is when it got tossed, it started like the centrifugal force. And then once it got to the point where it hit its apex and started to fall, all that fucking Gatorade, the Powerade that was in it, went forward like a heat shield would in a spacecraft. And I watched that thing come out of the fucking darkness and hit Scott Norton right in the fucking forehead. And it was like a brick hit him. I mean, he went right down. I mean, it did knock his ass out, but it was enough to fucking probably scramble his fucking noggin. And it probably would have killed any other human, but fucking
I think Scott, it was Regal that threw it, though, right?
It was Van Hammer.
That was Van Hammer.
It was Van Hammer that fucking, he threw his guitar.
With the guitar, the flying V. All right, let's see what we have here. JP says, what's good, fellas? Kevin mentioned Slipknot on last week's podcast, and it got me wondering, what's on Kevin's workout playlist? By the way, I totally agree with playing Quiet Storm with the lady. Do you have a playlist, a specific workout playlist, or you just
see? I'm so old school. I walk into the fucking gym. If there's music, there's music. If there's not, there's not. I'm not gonna have fucking earbuds in. I'm not gonna have fucking. I can work out to fucking the Carpenters. I can work out to AC/DC. I can work out to fucking Bullets for My Valentine. I can work out to fucking Year of the Cat with Al Stewart. So.
And if there's no music, you're right with just the
Yeah,
clanging of the machines.
The old Joe Gold's gym in Venice, and especially when he moved to Washington, I trained there a lot. Joe never had music. That was just a thing. There was no music in Gold's gym or World Gym. There wasn't Gold's, but when he moved to the World Gyms, they took the.
Yeah. What was the restaurant in was it Firehouse? Was it called?
Yeah, fuck yeah. That's I still, no matter what, when I go to LA, I try to get to the Firehouse.
All right. Anyone else?
Adam lives in Santa Monica, Venice area, so Adam Rodriguez. So,
Rodriguez, yeah.
That's one person I don't miss when I make sure I see him. The kids.
All right. Very good. I'll give a last shot to someone in the house before we wrap up the fun. Does anyone have anything else? All right. Well, Humberto, very fitting. I'm a Raiders fan, and I remember that the culture and colors were a big influence for NWA, especially Eazy-E. Did NWO feel the same influence?
Did you guys remember I used to have that big, long Raiders coat that had a hood on it? It was leather. It was like a starter or something. It was a XXX tall, and I left that motherfucker in like a limo or somewhere.
Oh.
And it was just like that thing was but that's what happens when you're in the wintertime, when you're in Minneapolis on a Monday and then you're in San Diego on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just taking shit off.
Shit gets left.
All right, everyone. What more can I say? What more can be said this week? Kliq This is a production.
I have a Florida guy, Jersey guy for you.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Go ahead.
All right. A guy drove a Chevrolet into a 7-Eleven and robbed it. Okay. A guy drove a Ford into a 7-Eleven and robbed it. Okay, which one's which?
Okay. So there's more to the headlines you didn't read. A guy drives a 7-Eleven into a Chevrolet because of the icy tires, and a guy drives a Ford into. So the icy tires were the lawnmower. Look, I need an enema after the show. This has been a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media, license and taxes and fees apply. Kev, we're doing another one together, aren't we?
Monday.
Yes, tonight. When you see us tonight, I'm getting on a very special plane, very special. I'm shooting down
a portal.
Yes.
Sean will be getting in a portal.
I'm transporting down to. I'm going to see if we could do a studio setup.
I just want everybody to keep. That's a Sean Oliver fan to keep an eye out, because word has it he shows up to Richmond a lot this time of year.
That's true. I always do show up to Richmond, and if you're around tomorrow night. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and join us tonight. And if you're not an 11 Soft member, you should be at kliqthis.com. If not, we get you next week. Deuces.